So before I get into the absolutely crazy amount of news that just took place that I felt I needed to just do a quick news show, be sure also to watch Brighter with Herbert. The video is going to break at noon today. I think you're going to really like that show. That's one of the best shows that he and I have done together. I think if you don't watch Brighter with Herbert, you should, but for sure today you want to watch that interview. All right, let's get into this is Randy Kirk. Like and subscribe and notify and join Patreon. The information's all below, and take a look at all the shows that are coming up. Lots of really good stuff coming up this week. All right, so Elon Musk and Tesla and all of his companies and everything else have been totally in the news since last night, early this morning into now, and the stock too. Let's take a look at what's going on. Let's start with China, because that's where probably the biggest news is being made, or not. Maybe not. Let's talk about it. So Elon, we got a rumor a day and a half ago that Elon was going to China. Well, sure enough, he's in China now, meeting with top Chinese officials, folks that are involved in commerce over there in China. Apparently had a really good meeting. The Chinese officials said that, yeah, great, we're open for business and love to have you do more over here. Elon making very good noises about how great he's done in China. So yeah, so what's he doing over there? The first impression, the first thing that comes to mind, especially to an optimist like me, is, okay, they need to expand the Gen 3. That's, they need to do it all over the world. Obviously, it'd be so much simpler to do that in Shanghai, where they already have the infrastructure, they already have the supply chain, they already have so many of the elements that they need, the workforce, people know them in the neighborhood. I mean, there's so many things that would suggest, hey, someplace near the existing Shanghai factory, we build another factory to do the Gen 3 vehicles. That seems to be the most obvious thing. However, then it came to my mind, maybe he's just testing the waters, trying to find out where is China right now with regard to all of this. Their economy's not doing as great as it was. Some people are, really naysaying the Chinese economy, maybe concerns about whether China is going to invade Taiwan, concerns about whether the Chinese government is at loggerheads with the US government, so much so that it could be a problem for Tesla downstream. Lots of things that he'd want to know. So maybe he was there. Yeah, sure. He's going to find out about future expansion. At least that's what the Chinese think. But maybe he's just doing some reconnaissance. And then the third thing that occurred to me, maybe he's there to create more head-to-head competition. He said the other day that the announcement about the next Gigafactory won't be till later this year. He's obviously been in India. He's talked to Indonesia. He's talked to South Korea. Have to suspect he's talked to Japan. Australia wants him. He's definitely talked to Canada. There could be good reasons for doing another giga someplace on the east coast of the United States or in Canada. Great Britain, France. I mean, there's so many different people that are being talked to. So it may be, hey, let's get some competition going to see what kinds of goodies I can get, or what kind of assurances I can get with regard to doing business in the most efficient manner in what country should be next. So that to me sounds like the really good reason to be in China at this point. And it may not be some kind of a prelude to some announcement with regard to expansions in China. So then the next story was Oracle. So Elon Musk, the story was that Elon Musk bought virtually all the cloud capacity that Oracle had available, that customers were being turned away and told that, gee whiz, Elon Musk bought it all. I had to dig a little deeper to find out that apparently these purchases are from X Corp, the Truth GPT division. And here's another example of Elon buying the supply chain, making sure he's got the supply chain in place, thinking way out, thinking years out, as well as, several chess moves out to make sure that he's in a position to launch the competition to OpenAI and to Google and everybody else that's getting into this chat GPT world. So that was a huge piece of news. It's a huge piece of news to Tesla investors, because as I've been saying for over a week, listen to Elon's words. He says Tesla will participate. Will they participate by also providing some compute? Will they participate by providing some software? Will they help out by providing some of the capabilities they have for learning, for deep learning. Will they participate in terms of ownership? Who knows what that participation looks like, but Elon said Tesla will be participating in this truth GPT world. So I take him at his word. So that's good news for Tesla investors. All right, next was the stock this morning is trying to break through 200. I told you all week that that's what would happen next, is that we'd have this really tough time getting through 200. It was through 200 on the intraday and then came back down below 200 and has been bouncing against 200. Clearly, I think it will go through and then go into this 217 range. Even in the 217 range, even in the 200 to 217 range, it'll be completely undervalued. I mean, dramatically undervalued. Remember, this is a company with no risk. Some people don't realize that yet. There's no risk in owning Tesla, and there's reward that's incomparable with any other company in the world. So that brings me to the next story, which is Nvidia being worth $1 trillion, being one of the 6 or 7 companies in the world that are now worth over $1 trillion. Well, okay, that's a 200 PE for Nvidia, with Tesla still sitting at a 55 PE. What does that tell you? I don't know. What it tells me is Nvidia is either overpriced or Tesla is dramatically underpriced. So if you think that Nvidia has the same potential for growth in the future as Tesla, I've got a bridge I'd like to sell you, and it isn't in San Francisco. So yeah, I think Nvidia is gonna, the bubble on that one's gonna burst, not because it's not a great company, not because they don't have huge earnings potential, not because they're not gonna grow, only because it's way out over its skis at this point, too much exuberance. And then Tesla, I think, will, as I've said over and over again, start this drive towards 300. All right, and then finally, I don't often say that that Elon is wrong about anything. So he's got his opinion about the real estate market and about that, the effect that that's going to have on the economy. I'm going to say he's half right and half wrong. Yes, there's a possibility that commercial real estate is going to see some hard times ahead, and that this could continue to affect regional banks. And that could especially be true if M2 continues to dry up like it's been drying up. So that part of it, I'm buying. I'm 100% with you, Elon. You're right. But it doesn't necessarily have to happen if the Fed will allow M2 to expand some, so that these real estate owners will be able to refinance their debt. If they can refinance their debt, they'll have time to reimagine these buildings that they may not need anymore for office space and reimagine them for other purposes. So, real estate changes. Look what's happened to the malls over the last 20 years. So real estate goes through these ups and downs in terms of what people need and what people want. And right now, office space is on the way out. Maybe that'll come back. There's a lot of headlines right now that companies are moving people back into office space. So not 100% sure how that's all going to play. What I do know is that Elon's right about the potential for a fairly substantial disaster in commercial real estate. But then he goes on to say housing is going to be bust. Well, I looked up a couple of other people that have negative opinions about housing, and they're talking about a 10 to 15% decline. That's not a bust. In housing, a 50% is a bust, okay? Now, maybe Elon thinks it'll go down 50%. I think that there's zero chance that housing, meaning residential housing, is going to go down, certainly not this summer. Maybe there'll be a small sell-off next fall, winter, when the season is over. I kind of doubt it. I've said this before many times, but for those of you who don't watch my channel, you really have to pay attention to what I'm going to say. If you're concerned about real estate or interested in real estate, thinking buying real estate, thinking of selling your real estate, there's 3 or 4 reasons why there's not going to be a bust in residential real estate. Number one, people like me and you probably are sitting on 2 and 3% loans, mortgages on the house that you're in, and maybe on some residential property that you bought for rental. I certainly am. I got 2 rental houses in addition to my own home. All 3 of those are, I think, in the neighborhood of 3% loans. I'm going to hand those to my kids. They're in trust. They're not going to be sold ever. And I'm not alone. Millions and millions of people that are younger than me, older than me, have got these kind of homes in trusts. They're never going to sell them. They own them outright. They have 40%, 50%, 60%, 70% ownership. And they're not going to ever sell them. And so those houses are off the market. They're never going to be on the market. And then there's a bunch of other folks that don't think quite that clearly with regard to finances, but they intend to die in their home. This is a trend that started 15, 20 years ago. It hasn't stopped. People don't want to die in nursing homes. They want to die in their homes. So they're staying in their homes. Grandmas and grandpas and single people are staying in 5-bedroom, 6-bedroom homes by themselves until they die. So this is not going to change either. And then you have the population isn't growing organically in the United States, but it's growing because of the number of people coming across our borders legally and illegally. And it's keeping our population growing, which means there's more residential real estate need and there's no supply. Nobody's building affordable housing. Some high-end housing is still being built because that makes sense, but low-end housing not being built. Apartments are, apparently the apartment thing is a little bit in some kind of balance right now, but residential real estate, not at all, not going down. In fact, the reporting today from Chase Schilling was that housing prices went up 0.7% month over month. I would expect that to continue all summer. I don't see any chance that you're going to see I don't see any chance that you're not going to see continued increases in housing prices all this summer during season. So sorry, Elon, we disagree. It's so rare. So anyway, hope this was useful to you and valuable to you. I felt that I needed to get this out really quickly because these are breaking stories. All of them are important. All of them matter to you as an investor. All of them matter to you as just somebody that's an Elon Musk or a Tesla fan that watches and is enjoying the fun. And so if you liked it, please hit like. If you do all that other subscribe and notify, and then please patron would be a great help if you would join, and even at $5 a month, it will help support the channel. All right, that's all I got. Randy Kirk, it has been great talking to you.